and welcome back to another episode of Keeper of the Keys. This is a hint at who I'm discussing. Is there something on her? I think it's just wrinkles. This series is where I discuss music that has impacted me spiritually. I also read off of my computer, so if I'm not playing eye tag with you, it is because I'm looking at my computer and reading straight off of it. The series is where I discuss music that has impacted me spiritually, unlatching gates and opening doors to magical realms. For this week's episode, I will be highlighting the field of peace and despair. I love when people say they on TikTok right now, it's agony and despair, but I think it's funny. Peace and despair artist Ethel Cain. Hayden Anadonia is the creator of the world Ethel Cain. She's also the creator behind, she is Ethel Cain basically. But yeah, Ethel Cain means so much to me. I feel such a connection to her music. It feels familiar and it feels like she gave my thoughts and feelings a voice. Her music has done so much for me. It's very comforting. I've been attached to the Preacher's Daughter story as I'm attached to Laura Palmer and very similar stories like that. It's gorgeous. Well, obviously the album is gorgeous, her music is gorgeous, everything she makes is gorgeous. I local filed all of her tracks that are unreleased. I probably listen to them more than her actual music, which I didn't say that, but you know who you are. A lot of the Ethel Cain fans are like this. Not to sound like an annoying fan, but I am, and I'm also sounding like a gatekeeper, but I did get into her before she got TikTokified, and that has been truly horrible seeing it unfold. And her discussing, like, Hayden saying how like nobody takes anything serious anymore, like everything is turned into a meme or a joke, is so true. And I've been thinking about it forever, and then she said it, and I was like, dude, that's literally what I've been thinking. Like, no art is taken seriously, everything is whipped into a meme. Think about every movie that comes out, every new thing that comes out. It's never like, we can't just like put the memes down. And I think it's because we all have a collective Sagittarius, I think it's in Saturn, I will correct it right here but we as a generation Gen Z have collective Sagittarius, and it's like, Sagittarius, they don't shut the fuck up. Like, they're annoying as fuck. I'm a Sag moon, like, I know, but it makes so much sense. That's why we literally like can't take anything serious. We're playful, but it's like, oh my god, it's so exhausting. Anyway, she's the reason why I romanticize my small town, why I romanticize and love farmland. Yeah, so the farmland girlies, the stuck in your hometown girlies, stand up. To provide a quick summary, if you don't know who Ethel Cain is, or you're not familiar with the Preacher's Daughter story, Preacher's Daughter was it wasn't her debut album. She had other albums released, but it was the album that probably took off, made her career take off, made her TikTokified. But Preacher's Daughter is a concept album, so it's a story that she made up herself, just like it's another concept album. I don't know, I really love concept albums. I think they're so interesting and so cool, and I love someone who's like a writer or storyteller making music. I'm obsessed with that. Basically, Preacher's Daughter is a story about a preacher's daughter. It discusses religious trauma, cycles of abuse, generational abuse, and the evil that men do. Basically, towards the end of the album, well, she meets someone who takes her out west. It's very American Honey like. They travel the west together, and then he ends up being the one who kills her in the end. He kills and cannibalizes her. So it's like a very tragic story. It's very Laura Palmer coded. Ethel Cain is a character that haunts the narrative like Laura Palmer. But yeah, they are one to me. They are the same. They are my girls. Yeah, so I said Ethel Cain, who found love and ran away from it. So that's the House in Nebraska track, the Willoughby Tucker track. into the open arms of a criminal. So that's the Western Nights track when they talk about Western, or Logan is the criminal that she meets, and Western Nights is about him. Then she hitches a ride with Isaiah in Thoroughfare, where they travel west. There are some theories that she didn't hitch a ride with him, that he kidnapped her, and she's in the back of the truck humming to herself, imagining that she went along with him and not that he took her. And that, if that is true, kidnapper slash killer, cannibalizer, basically he takes her out west, he pimps her out. That's what Gibson Girl, the song Gibson Girl, is about. And then he ends up killing her and eating her. It's literally the saddest shit ever, and it's a gorgeous album, and it's beautifully done, told, and yeah, it's just one of those albums where it's probably one of my favorite albums. Yeah, if I could name like my top 5 albums, it would probably be Beecher's Daughter. The line, "Am I making you feel sick?" is a line from her Strangers track, her track called Strangers. It's a double entendre because Ethel describes her flesh as rough and hard to stomach for Isaiah when he's eating her, while simultaneously it is also, she's like, is it making you sick? Like the thought of what you did to me. So the new and upcoming album is a continuation of the story. It's called Willoughby Tucker, I'll Always Love You. It's a continuation of the story, a prequel, a peek into the love story at the beginning of Preacher's Daughter timeline, and also the ending and completion of it. They're together somewhere in the afterlife. But yeah, the track list just got released, so it's obviously like the beginning of the Preacher's Daughter story. So the first song is Janie, which is, I believe Janie is her friend. I thought her name was Ellen, but I think it's Janie. I said Ellen, I don't know why. The second track is Willoughby's theme. Like Laura Palmer's theme. I'm so excited. 3 F Me Eyes, 4 Nettles, 5 Willoughby's interlude, 6 Dustful, 7 A Knock at the Door, 8 Radio Towers, 9 Tempest, and 10 Waco, Texas. Yeah, if you are a local file girly, or if you've been following Ethel for a long time, you already know Dust Bowl and Waco, Texas, and our dearly departed track, Homecoming. Everybody thought that Homecoming was going to be F Me Eyes, and it's very sad that it's not, but I do love F Me Eyes so bad, and I can't stop listening to it. So the Willoughby Tucker, Willoughby Tucker in the story is her one true love. Willoughby Tucker is fan casted as Cal Gabriel is fan casted as Willoughby, right? The fan cast is Cal Gabriel, right? From the movie Zero Day. He's so gorgina, he's so natural blood-stained blonde. But also, Willoughby Tucker has also had some Sophie Thatcher fan cast, which I love so much, and I've been making like TikTok edits. But also the overall vibe of Ethel, I'm gonna show like a bunch of mood boards, possibly maybe one, because I have far too many that I already make on my own time. I think I actually made one for this though, and it has a lot of like Nettles inspired fields and things like that. Field of Peace and Despair, yeah. From Twin Peaks, Laura Palmer's theme, the composer Angelo Bel Demento, that album near and dear to my heart. Yeah. So gorgeous. The music is amazing. The score obviously is amazing. It's just, unless you're a Twin Peaks fan, you're probably not gonna get it. That being said, Ethel hunted down the synths that they use on that track, and I believe she used it in Nettles. I'm assuming she's going to use it in Willoughby's theme, and more of the album, but that's why Nettles is just an instant hit, and just so special. So for this album, I've been saying a lot of shit as if you know, because I'm assuming people who are clicking on this do know though already, but basically her The two singles that she released was Nettles and F Me Eyes, and I think that's it. I think that's all we're getting until the album in August. Okay, so I am going to the Willoughby Tucker Forever tour. To be honest, I didn't get tickets where I'm from. I got tickets a little farther because I was like, I'm going regardless. And me and my sister are just gonna make a road trip out of it. I am definitely gonna try to film maybe, and I'll post here, but it's gonna be an experience. It's gonna be hella thoroughfare core. But yeah, I'm really excited for it. Please feel free to comment if you are going and what you're wearing. I need an outfit. I don't know what I'm wearing. I think I'm gonna like probably wear like get a cute dress, but I think it'd be funny if I showed up as Dale Cooper. But yeah, please comment what you're wearing, or if you're going as someone. If you're showing up in Laura Palmer drag, I want to know that, so start a conversation in the comments. So Hayden writes for the Southern Gothics, the Catholic Guild-Stricken and Southern Baptists, the American Honeys, the Camille Preakers, Marin and Lee, Laura Palmer Shooters, Lenore Dove and Hamish Abernathy Truthers, the Everlark Hive. If you do not want Sunrise on the Reaping spoiled for you, skip to this time stamp because I'm going to say something regarding that. Nettles was the first single released from this project, and it captured an audience, pushing them into a field, the final scene between Lenore and Hamish in the book. Ethel's incredible storytelling and writing illuminated the listener's understanding of Ethel and Willoughby as a pair. Willoughby is a special character. He's the only person that I believe truly cared about her and wanted a life with her and loved her. I do believe that Janie cared about her too. I hope they don't have like some crazy story about like a falling out or something. That would be crazy. But yeah, other than Janie, other than the characters that we haven't learned yet, Willoughby is very significant to Ethel. The second release single is not Homecoming. We were all hoodwinked. We were all bamboozled. And I just can't believe I fell for it. I had a slight suspicion though, not to be like I'm always right, but I was like, I don't know, what if it's Waco, Texas? I was not expecting F Me Eyes. I did already write up a review and discussion for Homecoming because I thought it was gonna be that, and that just has to go in the trash, like rip. Maybe I'll do like an extended episode where I just talk about that song if people wanted it. If you want it, if one person says they want it in the comments, I'll post it. Yeah, and then I was like filming like videos like singing to it, and this clip is literally like they're all gonna laugh at me like I was wrong. They're literally all gonna laugh at me. Okay, but to give clarity, or to be clear, this episode is going to be discussing and regarding the two actually released singles, Nettles and F Me Eyes. Nettles is a plant that stings and is sharp. She opens the album with "We were in a race to grow up, yesterday through today till tomorrow." On Genius Lyrics, Hayden was popping in to add everything that she believes or she meant with each line. So she wrote, life is a race is a metaphor used to describe life as a competition or a series of challenges, often with a sense of urgency or striving for achievement. Both Ethel and Willoughby are characters deeply scarred by their environment, where they grow up in a home and community that doesn't offer them safety. The race to grow up here isn't just a metaphor, and instead serves as a survival tactic for them. If they can grow up fast enough, they believe that maybe they can escape the forces pulling them down. As such, Ethel and Willoughby were constantly pushing forward, prematurely aging themselves under the weight of their circumstances. These lines in particular also mirror the circumstances where young people are forced to mature too quickly due to trauma. When one grows up under duress, there is no real separation between past, present, or future. Every day feels like another step forward in the same struggle. This is the case for Ethel and Willoughby. Those lines, like that was crazy. I was like, what? Oh my god, like she's crazy. She's so talented. So she writes, this yearning is ironic in nature. By rushing into adulthood, they bypass the security and care that might have saved them. Trauma accelerates time and robs people of the slowness that growing up should be. For Willoughby especially, this race ends in disaster, foreshadowing by his injury mentioned in the following line. But when the plant blew up, a piece of shrapnel flew and slowed that part of you. The doctors gave you until the end of the night, but not till daylight. I don't remember where she wrote this, but she said this line is also the first time it is mentioned that Ethel and Willoughby grew up together and did not only meet later as teenagers or young adults. What? What? Like that, when that was unlocked, I was like, and I still believe that homecoming is now a part of them. Like, imagine them going to homecoming together. Okay, so again, the line, but when the plant blew up, a piece of shrapnel flew and slowed that part of you. The doctors gave you until the end of the night, but not till daylight. She describes this, so Ethel, again, was writing what she believed on Genius Lyrics, so to kind of paraphrase and explain, she describes this as Ethel thinking of all the bad things that could have happened to Willoughby. He reassures her like a father figure would. Her mind races with loads of scenarios in which this boy could be taken away from her. She cannot exist in this moment with him. She's too worried about how it will end. Again, that rush to grow up or quicken things and move things along robs you of the moment. Ultimately, it's almost like her thoughts were manifesting because of how they parted ways in the beginning of this preacher's daughter story. Made a fool of myself down on Tennessee Street. I don't know what this is indicating. Ethel wrote in Genius Lyrics that Tennessee Street refers to East Tennessee Street in Florida where she was born. I don't know if this is like an indication of like the mixing identities of the two, like Hayden and Ethel. To go on that and then to go back, they always say to write what you know. I remember Ethel mentioned, or Hayden mentioned something before. It was vague and I may be jumping to conclusions, but I feel like I understood what she was saying. She said something like she had to write this story or else she was gonna go crazy. I believe, I might just be like straight making shit up. But I feel like this story is like, she's very similar to Ethel, the character, in which she thinks of all these bad things that are going to happen to Willoughby. And I think like the story of Ethel Cain is something where it's like all these fears of being a woman, or all these fears, that things of growing up watching true crime and shit, or trusting people, or leaving your small hometown. If she didn't write this into fiction, it was going to manifest, or it was going to happen. All her thoughts were going to happen, or somehow she was going to get into trouble like this character did. I don't know if that's true, but I do think maybe. Or she could have been saying like this idea and story came to her and she had to write this preacher's daughter story, or it wasn't going to be told by her. Like that message from the universe was either going to be received or ignored by Hayden, and she had to take it and run with it and create it. But yes, it made a fool of myself down on Tennessee Street. I can't understand what this means. I know we're gonna find out, but like for me, I'm like, I wonder if this is her maybe cheating on Willoughby because she believes that, you know, as we get farther into this discussion, we'll understand deeper into their lore. But just to do a little peek into it, I feel like maybe that's how they went wrong. Maybe she hooked up with someone else and she's just like, it was so embarrassing, I don't know why I did that. So the lines, made a fool of myself down on Tennessee Street. It wasn't pretty like the movies, it was ugly like what they all did to me, and they did to me what I wouldn't do to anyone, you know, that's for sure. I just want to say before I get into it, the Laura Palmer Camille Preaker edits to this are seriously going to put me on suicide watch. When I hear those lines, I see my beloved Laura sneaking away to join Jacques Renault and the other older men at the Roadhouse, or she's sneaking off with Bobby on her final night alive, her arms around him on the motorcycle, her stockings are lingerie, tights are peeking in the wind. I see Camille Preaker in the woods moments before disaster, when before the football team finds her. I see her in the motel room when John Cain is noticing her scars and then the cops storm in. I see, actually this is another spoiler to Sunrise on the Reaping, so just skip to this. But I see Haymitch in the book of Sunrise on the Reaping, he describes this moment as a bad moment, and it has stuck with me, like very awkward moments that like, oh, that was just bad, and we like don't talk about them, or like they haunt us, but like it was just like something where it was just like, it's just a bad moment. Like I love that description. But it was when he's at the funeral and he sees Maisley's twin sister and he calls out Maisley to her, and he just calls it, there was a bad moment when I did this, and I just, those lines, I just feel like in the story it's all just like, it was very bad. So I feel like it had to be either she was like hooking up with some other guy because she doesn't think that Willoughby loves her, cares about her. And then the lines, you know, that's for sure. I always hear that line and think that's a wink to her American football cover and rendition of For Sure, the better version. Who said that? Who said that? The next lines, and think of all the time I'll have with you when I won't wake up on my own, held close all the time knowing I'm half of you. So I believe that Willoughby is trying to reassure her that they are together, they aren't alone, they are half of one another, they have each other. The line, knowing I'm half of you and it was all for you, toward the very end of the track, Ethel explains how losing him and her fears of losing him is like losing half of herself because they are connected. In Genius Lyrics, she writes, in a more surface level analysis, the line itself alludes to Ethel being deeply depressed. A symptom of severe depression is stereotypically known for manifesting as an inability to get out of bed. Ethel finds herself unable to wake up or even face the day unless she reminds herself that she's part of something bigger. Without Willoughby, she might not wake at all. The masterpiece that is the second verse of this song opens with, lay me down where the trees bend low, put me down where the greenery stings. I can hear them singing. To love me is to suffer me, and I believe that. These lines make me think of when Ethel spoke about how she wrote the whole song about running in her backyard and getting her foot stuck in a plant, and she thought it was nettles, and she wrote a whole song about it, and it wasn't nettles, and I was like, that is just something that I would do. Like, that is so funny. But the nettles plant, they sting and they hurt. Her lines, to love me is to suffer me. To get to know her, to get close to her, you'll have to face her 8 evil exes. Is it 8 or 7? Or her 7 or 8 evil attempts to push you away. It's very avoidant, girly coded. Avoidant girls, avoidancy, is that what it's called? The avoidance. Okay, her lines, you'll go fight a war, I'll go missing. So I believe that this is just, Willoughby ended up going into the military while she went missing. And those lines have been killing me ever since, and the TikTok editors have been killing me ever since because they are editing them with Everlark. Basically, there are clips of Katniss and Mockingjay. Basically, she's like acting as Willoughby. She's gone to fight a war, and then there's clips of Peeta stuck in the Capitol as Ethel, like she's gone missing. It's just like, it's psychotic, and they're very unkind, those edits, and they've been killing me. And then she says, I warned you, for me it's not that hard. It's like, I think she knew he was gonna go into the military and something bad was gonna happen to her, or just something bad was gonna happen to both of them. It's like, she knew. And it's like, maybe he thought they would have this great life together, and she didn't believe that, and she just felt like she knew deep in her bones something was wrong and something was gonna happen. Because then the next line, she says, maybe you're right and we should stop watching the news, because baby, I've never seen brown eyes look so blue. I describe this as watching the news, staying up to date constantly with what's going around you, feeding that nihilistic demon in you, putting yourself down, living in fear and depression. It's not And I'm not trying to say like it's right to be ignorant, or you should be ignorant and just shut off the news and remain unaware of everything going on in the world, but taking necessary breaks from it because it can be too much, and just hearing all the hate in the world and just not feeling like, you know, just like falling into that pit of being hopeless and not feeling like there is like the world's gonna be better or you can make the world a better place. You know what I mean? Like, she's never seen Brown Eyes look so blue. He's disappointed. The world is hurting him, changing him. He's growing older. He's not naive like he used to be. He grew up fast, like she said, and those beautiful brown eyes have turned ice cold. Something distant but also deeply gone and saddening blue because of everything he is thrown into. She writes, think of us inside after the wedding, suffering the while to lie a time or two when we won't wake up on our own, held close all the time, knowing this was all for you. She was gonna marry him. Then she writes, think of us inside, gardenias on the tile where it makes no difference who held back from who. Gardenias are now so holy to me. I want that gardenia Yankee candle from eBay that Hayden talked about in her YouTube video. It was like aroma or like nice smell goods or something like that. Yeah, because I like looked on eBay too and I couldn't find it. I was like, oh great. So I just like I guess I just won't get that gardenia candle, but I really want it. Yeah, the line where it makes no difference who held back from who makes me believe without being told for sure yet that they were avoidant with one another, but perhaps on Ethel's part more. I believe that Willoughby wanted to give her his love and she couldn't let him in, and it hurt him so much that he left town. I believe that there's more dimension and substance to it, which I love, and especially because of the new track. And I'll talk more about it in the next track, but why she felt very avoidant, why she felt like she couldn't fully allow herself to be with him. It's sickening to know that she's the reason he won't come home. Why? Why? I've got to believe that it was Ethel being avoidant and pushing this true love away because she didn't know what to do with it. And what does she do? She's thrown into the arms of these truly evil men. The fiddle on the track adds so much more to this track. It's so country, indie, and covey-like. I'm obsessed with the sound of the track and Ethel's backing vocals. Ethel is so talented and every song of hers is immediately a favorite. I was talking to my sister about her and I was like, I'm just so locked in with her. Like, there's never a song that comes out that I'm like, like, that never happens for me. The second release single is F Me Eyes. I read this and thought, what? Because I also thought it was gonna be Homecoming, and I was like pulling up Spotify and I was like, okay, like what's it gonna say? And then I said F Me Eyes. I go, what? A new song? But yeah, to the editors who already made F Me Eyes edits to Camille Breaker and Laura Palmer, you will be mentioned in my will, so don't you worry about that. This track introduced a new character to the story, a preacher's daughter. Her name is Holly Reddick. Genius Lyrics writes, the song narrates Ethel's tumultuous emotions towards Holly Reddick, a fellow classmate constantly hanging around Willoughby Tucker, who Ethel assumes must be in love with the girl. Henceforth, the reasoning why Ethel, and deeper reasoning why Ethel wouldn't allow herself to be with Willoughby. This hurt me so much to learn, and I'm just so attached to Holly and Ethel after like learning about them. And Ethel said that a lot of the descriptions and a lot of the lyrics about Holly are not necessarily true. They're more so rumors that spread around the school about her, and I think that's amazing and so interesting, because it's like nobody even knows her, like, or knows deeper about her story. It's all just what like people talk shit about and gossip about, and I love it. You knew a Holly Reddick in high school. Maybe you were Holly Reddick, maybe you were Ethel, and I just think it's so deeply familiar and something that you can relate to, or it's just, I don't know, I just love this track. I love this track. So this song is the third track of the album, and it screams to me, at least how Hayden categorizes it in her own lens of storytelling, but it's the like American teenager track. It's very Bruce Springsteen-like, American and sad. It's also a parallel song to the 1981 track Betty Davis Eyes by Kim Carnes. This song was frequently covered by Ethel at her live shows. We should have known. Why didn't we know that? This was coming. The synths on the track are by the work of Delora. Again, the genius mastering of Matthew Tomasi with the guitars and drums, and then written, produced, and mixed by Hayden fucking man and Adonia. The track is eerily similar to the unreleased track Concrete. Her lines, "And I wonder if you want her in the way I wish you would need me." It makes me think, like, if we're receiving this one, are we not receiving the other? And now I know, I wrote this before we got the track list, unless she's renamed it. But yeah, I feel like this is probably like maybe a draft of what FMI's would have been, or maybe it's not even directly related. The first verse, she really gets around town in her old Cadillac and her mom's jeans that she cut to really show off her ass. Genius Lyrics writes, generational trauma symbolically represents a pattern of women in her family being reduced to their bodies. So yeah, I thought that was really amazing, like specifically her mom jeans. This is like passed down mom jeans, her passed down trauma, again only being taken serious by what you look like, by how young you are, and by your sex appeal. And not even being taken serious, just only being talked about or ridiculed. It's just very interesting and a very good introduction into the town of Shady Grove, which is the setting of Preacher's Daughter, where she grew up. The next lines, she's got her makeup done and her high heels on. She's got her hair up to God. She's gonna get what she wants. Her nails are heartbreak red because she's a bad motherfucker. When I heard this mention of the red lines, I think of 80s songs where they mention that femme fatale archetype, with red nails, like Bon Jovi's You Give Love a Bad Name, blood red nails on her fingertips. You believe she's badass, a heartbreaker, nothing affects her. And then side note, on the lowest of keys, it makes me think of Avon from Complicity, because they do have like a scene with You Give Love a Bad Name, but it's also like Avon physically and yeah, I guess physically and performatively, in Complicity, like her character, she's totally different from who she was in the first season. She's supposed to be this like nothing affects her, but like deep down she's this like, she's a person, and deep down she's going through all this trauma, all this family shit, all this personal shit. And yeah, it just reminded me of that. Yeah, but deep down, her family trauma, her family is actively harming her, and she cannot be herself or obtain her own agency. The next lines, and all the boys want to love her when she bats her F me eyes. F me eyes indicate that she has this trait. It isn't her own, she was born with it. The next line, she goes to church straight from the clubs. Hayden writes, Ethel fears that Willoughby will never love her because she sees how most men flock to Holly's sex appeal and assumes that Willoughby will follow suit and will be uninterested in Ethel because of the differences between the two women. The next line, they say she looks just like her mama before the drugs. In Genius Lyrics, Hayden writes, in the story of Preacher's Daughter, Hayden explains how the setting of the town Ethel grew up in Shady Grove, Alabama, ravaged by alcohol abuse, is a way to cope with familial trauma. In this line, it's clear it is shamed because this town's southern women are expected to deal with their trauma in private. So when I read this line, it reminded me heavily of Sharp Objects and the Wind Gap Women, specifically the character Jackie O'Neill with her bloodies. Everyone knows that she uses alcohol and drugs as a way to escape her past and everything that's currently going on in her life, to cover up secrets, to ignore the present, to subdue the things that are still happening in the town that she cannot control. It's beyond her. Yeah, I just immediately thought of a lot of those women. The lines, her daddy keeps her in a box, but it's no good. I hear this and think of the character Ariel from Footloose, specifically the movie-cool 2011 version. Her father tries desperately to keep her contained as this perfect forever child, eternally a little girl. We see that she lives an alternate life or side life as the preacher's daughter gone rogue trope. Ariel is similar to Holly. The description, honey, F me eyes. The god or gods in Genius Lyrics write, honey is both sweet and sticky. The boys she attracts find her pleasant to be around, but are considered not responsible for their attraction to her because of her honey, F me eyes. Again, how I said, like, it is like a trait that she cannot control. The whole F me eyes is a metaphor for the separation of responsibility. Since she is seductive, the boys are not to blame for what comes. It's the idea that, well, she was asking for it because of what she looks, what she's wearing, her F me eyes. It's a way to not put blame on the perpetrator. Instead, you blame the girl for her seductive nature. She has a natural affinity to seduction. How could you blame the men for something she was born with? F me eyes from birth is crazy. Like, what? Like, out the womb with F me eyes. The lines beautifully and tragically sung. Nowhere to go, she's just along for the ride. I think of Star in American Honey, my baby who got out of her bad situation to enter a new bad one. There's a beautiful Bones and All edit of Marin to this part of the song, and it's so good. I'm in love with it. She's scared of nothing but the passenger side of some old man's truck in the dark parking lot. She's just trying to feel good right now. This line is most likely my favorite from the song. It tells you everything you need to know about Holly, or everything that people think about Holly. To parallel what Hayden writes in Genius Lyrics, this is an indication of how terrified Holly is of ending up in the passenger seat of someone else, of not being in control of her own life, riding passenger, not having an ounce of agency in her life and her decisions. Hayden writes how this track mirrors Thoroughfare, where Ethel is kidnapped by her lover Isaiah and taken to the West. Now, this is an interesting concept. If we understand Ethel as different from Holly, or strikingly similar actually, because if this isn't like true, if things about her aren't true and just rumors, or you know, despite that the two girls are very similar no matter what you think, it's interesting that Ethel compares herself to Holly, and it's also a reasoning for why Ethel leaves and ends up on the journey of the story, because she believes that she has to be similar to Holly, effortless and easy, or how people think Holly is. She doesn't even, I feel like Ethel might not even know her. That sort of cool girl for men to achieve what she wants. She has to be like her, be how they perceive her. It's interesting how Holly doesn't want to, she never leaves the town. She really gets around town. She gets around town, but she never leaves. Ethel leaves and then is into the arms, and then look how her story ends. So it's like very interesting how she fell into her situation because maybe she wanted to be like Holly, or wanted to be regarded by people as Holly was, and she thought to do that she has to be like free and leave and, you know, hop into the arms of these guys who are very evil. It's just like an interesting concept, and how things get in your head by comparing yourself to other women, or all at the end of the day about a man, like all at the end of the day how men, like when you are your male, not that you're male centered, not that the girls are male centered, but because of their situations, because of their lives in the church and in their town, how everything revolves around the men and the patriarchy. The lines, they all want to take her out, but no one ever wants to take her home. The boys and men want to take her out, take her on a date, show her off to the boys, be associated with Holly, wear her on their arm, because of her reputation. They want to show her off to others like an accessory, but they aren't serious about her. They do not take her seriously. She's something they can use and throw away. No one ever wants to take her home. No one ever takes her seriously. No one sees her as a person or someone willing, someone they can make a connection with or be friends with, have relationships with. They don't see her like that. Hayden, do not let me catch you. In the third verse, Hayden writes, 3 years undefeated as Miss Holiday Inn, posted outside the liquor store because she's too young to get in. They ask her why she talks too loud. What you do with all that mouth? Boy, if you're not scared of Jesus, fuck around and come find out. She's got the radio blasting with her big white smile, pretty baby with the miles, and when she leaves, they never see her wiping her fuck me eyes. It's so descriptive. You can see that scene in your head. Again, you know this girl. Maybe you are this girl. Maybe you knew a girl like that. Maybe you used to be her. Maybe you were jealous of this girl. But yeah, a lot of the descriptions, like the Holiday Inn, they're all rumors about her, or outside the liquor store. Maybe she is outside the liquor store, but maybe it's like, oh, bro, I saw her literally like at the club. The club in Shady Grove. Where's the club in Shady Grove? Be for real. You know there's a bar. Maybe she was at the bar. What club was she at in Shady Grove and then went to church the next morning? Okay, then the lines, they want to take her out, but no one ever wants to take her home, but no one ever wants to take her home. This part of the song and lines are so beautiful, and Ethel's vocals are amazing, and it just picks up the song. It's just sickening. I love when Ethel or Hayden raises her voice like that. It's so good. Then I think this is like the bridge. I'll never blame her, I kinda hate her. I'll never be that kind of angel. I'll never be kind enough to me. I'll never blame her for trying to make it, but I'll never be the kind of angel he would see. Again, like, she really compared herself to Holly and was jealous about Holly and Willoughby's connection, and it just makes so much sense and adds so much dimension to Ethel and the characters and their story. And it's not like a simple, I don't think it's a simple thing of miscommunication, because I think it's deeply rooted in how they were growing up and the setting that they were in, and it's just so good. It's not a simple answer. It's not like something that you could be like, oh, well, this is what happened. It's like deeply rooted in how they grew up, their family, how they view each other. It's literally just like, socially, it's very like how the town worked socially. And then the lines, she really gets around town. Literally, she really gets around town. And the image of her, the idea of her, maybe these stories live on, like The Lady in White and Sharp Objects. She really gets around town, but she will never leave. It opens, the track opens with She Really Gets Around Town, and it ends with She Really Gets Around Town. She doesn't leave. She's gonna stay there like her mom did, like her family did, and end up like the women, like the older women of Shady Grove. She's not getting out. It's very Camille Preaker, even though Camille got out, but then she came back. But yeah, it's very interesting, this relationship or just situation between the two women, Holly and Ethel, and I just love the story and I love this song, and I've been singing it and playing it on repeat ever since, and I'm very excited for the album. The album is so exciting because she released how long the songs are. Alright, well, it's not telling me because I have to log into Instagram, but basically the tracks are so long and I'm so excited. But yeah, maybe I will discuss Homecoming. If you guys want an extra episode, let me know. But that is the end of my Ethel Cain Keeper of the Keys episode. I love Ethel Cain. I love her music. I love the story of the preacher's daughter. And yeah, if you're interested, definitely listen to her drone music album Perverts if you want some more Ethel until this new album comes out. I love that album. It's deeply, I was like, I love that album. It's very, when the album came out, every time I listen to the songs now or specific songs, I immediately feel transported to when I first were listening to them. It feels like I'm driving late at night. I have this playlist like Night on the Road, and it's like a black and white picture of Marin from Bones and All, and it's very just like spooky ooky night on the road in like a farmland. It's just very amazing, and my favorite tracks are Onanist, I believe that's how you say it, Etienne or Etienne, Punish. I love Perverts, Amber Waves. Yeah, I'm trying to really like listen to a lot more of the tracks, but I've been listening to Onanist on repeat and just, I want to know love. But yeah, if you're interested in the Preacher's Daughter story, definitely start with Preacher's Daughter. You have some time. Just really get into the first official album, and then you'll be excited for this prequel or extension of the story and Willoughby and her to it with Willoughby Tucker, I Will Always Love You. But that's it for today. I will have another episode, but as for now, I am taking the key and locking the door. Thank you for watching. Bye.